All right, so let
So
me.
what was that
Yeah, so
email? Yeah,
let me jump in here. What Jim was asking, and again, this is not an uncommon issue. Jack was mentioning before different how questions, and many of the how questions revolve around people, and this one revolves around people, Jack. Although it's not an employee or vendor issue, it's something a little more close to home than that. So this question basically boils down to, how do I know when it's time to split with my partner? How do I know when it's time to split with my partner?
Geez, have you and I ever faced a question like that, Adam? We got 3 of them going on this week.
Yeah, numerous times, and the situations are all very unique in and amongst themselves, but there are a lot of common threads amongst those as well. But we've been across a lot of different things. Whether it be, this can be everything from spouses. Okay, we've got spouses in the company who are also partners in the business. You've got siblings. You've got friends. You've got just folks who are coworkers somewhere else. I mean, there's all different kinds of situations, and depending on those situations, can depend how people go about approaching this very, very delicate discussion in terms of how do I know when it's time to split with my partner. I guess, Jim, the fact that you're even asking that question is a good indication that it might be time either for a significant change, which might be splitting, or you're certainly very, very close to that. To be get to the point where you're even thinking about that. That's sign number one that there's some serious issues going on.
That's how we often see it. We've had hundreds of clients, and we probably talked to thousands of business owners. And when you meet with somebody regularly who owns a business, and one of the biggest gripes or complaints they have, week after week, month after month, whatever the frequency is, that they're talking negatively about an employee. Again, it could be a relative, or it could be just a regular person off the street that you've employed for a while. But when you start to talk negatively about them constantly, that means they're on your mind, and it really isn't going to resolve itself after 6, 7 weeks of talking badly about somebody, or negatively, is a better word than badly. And I know a guy named Badly. That's why I was thinking about it. He fits the negative column pretty good. So
he has the right name then, I guess, huh?
I had a dentist. His name was Meanie.
Oh man!
How about that one? That's a good.
I got a Dr. Blood. That's a dentist. It's an oral surgeon. Even better, right? You know what you're getting into.
But anyway, coming back to yeah. So if you find yourself constantly thinking negatively about an employee, it's the obvious, easy answer is, hey, it's time to part company here. I'm not a big fan of rehabs, and when it gets to that point, especially in a small business, you're just too close, and you can't find the separation normally.
You're probably never going to find Jack and I on any show called Intervention as it relates to the business and trying to fix people. We do our best to help educate people, but at the end of the day, people kind of are how they are. If they're always willing to kind of grow and learn and get better, they will. If they're kind of stuck in their ways, that's often the case too. As Jack's talking about employee issues, and this happens a lot. As a matter of fact, I just had a client call me Friday evening to let me know about somebody he's been griping about for months now, and basically trying to figure out different ways as far as how he can repurpose this person within the company, because they have some value to add. It's just in the current role doesn't quite fit. And this person kind of took himself out, came in and gave his 2-week notice. And what's funny was the person who came and resigned was kind of upset that the owner wasn't distraught about it. As a matter of fact, the owner was very relieved about that. And that's a great simple little test. And it comes from a book called Good to Great. A guy named Jim Collins wrote this book, and it's a very, very good clarifying question. He said somebody comes into you and they were to give you their 2-week notice, Jack, and they say this to you. Now you have a couple of reactions. It says, okay, would you be distraught, very upset about this person leaving? Okay, is that your reaction? Or are you secretly relieved?
Like, man,
right.
This issue just got resolved.
Exactly. Right. So I don't have to handle it. I don't have to have that uncomfortable conversation. So if you're going to be secretly relieved, you've got your answer in terms of, hey, it's time to kind of move on, from this person. Then the question then becomes, come back to our how questions. Well, how do you go about doing it? And it can be very different when you're talking about an employee or a vendor. It can be very different than versus talking about when it's a partner. Now, when it comes to being a partner, it depends on, okay, if it's your spouse versus your child versus your sibling versus a cousin versus somebody who's not a family member. The way you go about doing that can be very, very different because you have to see those people at different times. Again, if it's strictly a business relationship, you may cut ties and you're done. You never see that person again,
much
right?
easier. I mean, on the surface, much easier.
Yeah.
But if you got to see somebody on Thanksgiving and all the holidays and family celebrations, boy, that is a very sensitive, much more difficult type of separation.
Well, I got that, or that's the easy one. It's compared to having to sleep on the couch or getting kicked out of the house, right? There's there's some different things there too as well, right? So we'll delve into that a little bit further when